Hi, I wanted to welcome you to the Divorce Planning Podcast. I'm Carri Goldring, and I'm in the mortgage business, and I do planning pre-divorce for people who are either going to refinance their home, do an equity buyout, or plan to purchase a new home and make sure that everything in the divorce decree is worded properly and the numbers in the planning is taken care of so that you can go through the underwriting process smoothly. And I would like to introduce you to other people who are interested in the divorce planning process so you can get a real education of what's involved. Hope you enjoy. Hi, today I have with me Sandra Giudici. And Sandra Giudici is a financial advisor and a CDFA. And I want to welcome you, Sandra. And then I thought maybe you could even just explain, because it gets confusing to start with, what is a CDFA and what is a financial advisor? But welcome.
Good morning, Carri. Thank you for having me on your podcast. And so I will explain the CDFA is a certification primarily for divorce. It's a certified divorce financial analyst. And this certification allows you to really understand how assets are divided during divorce, how to analyze, calculate, and just be involved with the divorce process in a way that helps the parties separate and become financially secure post-divorce by helping them make the right decisions during divorce. Divorce is one of the most tumultuous financial events in one's life and should not be taken lightly. So that's what a CDFA does, is help that person or that couple understand how to divide their assets during divorce. A financial advisor is a person who helps anybody during their lifetime manage their assets. So they help them not only manage their assets, but also look at their financial situation holistically. In other words, considering both risk management, which would be insurance, and that means liability insurance, long-term care insurance, disability insurance, whatever the insurance, life insurance, whatever that might be. Also, helps people meet their financial goals, such as saving for college, saving for retirement, saving to buy a house, or saving for vacations. So they help them identify their goals, plan out their financial scenarios for whatever point in time they are in life, and then looking forward and into the future, help them become financially secure to meet those goals and to be secure throughout their lifetime. Some financial advisors also help them invest their money or just make financial plans to help them invest their money so that they can achieve those goals. So that's what a financial advisor does as well. And a financial advisor could have the designation as a certified divorce financial analyst, in addition to other designations as part of their name.
Thank you. Thank you. I know sometimes it gets really confusing because there's so many designations and requirements and what you can and can't do. So that was great that you explain that. And today our topic, we are going to talk about IRAs and the differences between a traditional IRA and a Roth. So I was hoping that you can explain for those who don't know or who want to just make sure they really know, what is an IRA and why do we have them, and then kind of pros and cons and what the differences are between a traditional and a Roth.
Sure, happy to do that.
Thank you.
So IRAs are vehicles or ways to save for retirement. The reason we have them is because the government encouraged people to do IRAs because pensions kind of disappeared since 1980s. That was the last of the major pensions that corporations provided for people for their retirement. Now, government agencies still have pensions and school systems and some hospital systems still do, but for the most part, pensions have pretty much dissipated in the United States, and IRAs are a way or a vehicle to save for retirement. So they are not there are different ways to save for retirement within IRAs, and that's the Roth IRA versus the traditional IRA. And those ways have implications for your deductions during the year on your taxes, as well as how you take out the money later on in retirement. And those are that's the broad overview of the difference between a Roth and a traditional IRA. So I'll delve into the specifics now in comparing the Roth to the traditional. So with IRAs, if you make a contribution before you're taxed on it, that would be a traditional IRA contribution. It's made to with after-tax money. So if you earn money, you can by the way, you can only contribute to an IRA if you have earned income. If you have an inheritance, if you have a gift, if you have anything that is not earned in like dividends and interest, you cannot contribute to an IRA. You have to have earned income.
And it has to be an earned income the same calendar year you're investing, correct?
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly right. It has to be it's during the calendar year, but you have until April 15th of the following year to make that contribution for the year that you earned the income. So there's a little bit of leeway there as well.
Okay, good.
Okay, so the traditional IRA is after-tax income, pre-tax income. So you earned the income and you want to put it away and you want to take a deduction on it. So if you put it in a traditional, you can put up to a certain amount of money into the IRA, $7,000 annually. That's the max you can put in an IRA. Now, whether you put that in a Roth or a traditional depends on where the money came from. If you put the money in a traditional IRA and you earned it, and you want to take a deduction on it, you put it in the traditional IRA, you take a deduction on that income on your taxes, and you can save on taxes that year. So that would be a way of putting income that you earned after tax, but taking a deduction on it. So now it becomes, you really didn't pay taxes on it because you now took a deduction on your taxes. If you put it in a Roth IRA, then that would be after-tax income, which you don't take a deduction on your taxes. So there is no benefit in that year that you make the Roth contribution. But you are limited with the Roth. You can only make a Roth contribution if you make up to a certain threshold of income. I believe for single people, it's $160,000. So if you make more than that, you cannot contribute to a Roth. So there's limitations on these. I don't think we'll go into the exact limitations in this podcast, but there are limitations on when you can make a Roth versus a traditional. And in fact, if you're contributing to a 401k at your employer, you can, and you're maxing out at $23,000 a year there, or if you're over 50, 30,000, you cannot make an additional traditional or Roth IRA. For the most part, as broadly defined, Roth contribution, you don't take a deduction. A traditional, you take a deduction in that year, so you get a tax benefit in the year you make that payment.
All right, I just want to go over examples to make sure everyone understands. So you're working, you get paid, you pay income tax on the money that you're earning, and then you obviously have whatever's left of your paycheck. So if you have extra money or you're budgeting for that money, you have a choice to take that money if you meet the income thresholds to put it into a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA.
Exactly.
And if you're going to put it in a traditional IRA, you're going to subtract that from your income. So you're not really paying income tax on that money, even though you paid income tax from your paycheck, but you're kind of getting reimbursed for it. And then if you do the Roth, you're just putting it in there. You're not deducting anything. You've already paid your income tax and you're done. So whatever money is in either one of these accounts is going to grow accordingly. Did I get that right?
That's
okay.
Perfect. Exactly.
Okay, just want to make sure that we totally get it.
Okay. So both of these accounts will then grow tax deferred. You don't pay any taxes as they generate interest, generate dividends, capital gains, whatever they do, if they appreciate during the years that you're holding them, you pay no taxes. They're kind of snuggled away and out of your purview, okay? The IRS doesn't look at it. Nobody, you don't have to report on it. It's just tucked away. Then at 59 and a half, you may have access to that. Actually, with the Roth, you can get access earlier. Once again, we're not going to get into those details, but let's just say at 59 and a half is the key point that you can access now your IRAs without paying a penalty. So there is a 10% penalty if you take it out earlier, and you can accept, with some exceptions, once again, that you can spend $10,000 on to buy your first house. If you have medical needs, you can take it out. If you get disabled, you can take it out, but we're not going to get into those details. All right. There are ways to get to that money with exceptions, but for the most part, let's just talk broadly. 59 and a half. At 59 and a half, you take the money out of the traditional IRA, which you receive that tax deduction on the year you contributed. In other words, you made it non-taxable. Now you pay the tax. So when you take that money out, you pay ordinary income tax on that.
Even the money that grew.
Even both the contributions and the earnings on the contributions. Yes. Now, the idea is that later in life, you won't take it out typically at 59 and a half, you'll take it out when you retire. You're going to not be in the same high tax bracket. So therefore, you're going to pay lower taxes on that money. That's the key or a key advantage of the putting it away, squirreling it away, growing it tax deferred, but then you pay the tax, but you pay it at a lower bracket. But that's a benefit of saving it early and paying later when you're supposedly in the lower bracket.
And that would do if you're in a higher tax bracket to begin with. Otherwise, you'd probably do the Roth, right?
Right. If you're underneath the threshold on the Roth, right? So then the Roth IRA, when you take that out at 59 and a half, you pay no money on it. You pay no taxes on it. The reason is because you used after-tax income and you took no deduction. So you paid your taxes on that already. And you pay no taxes on what it accumulated to. So it's really a nice benefit because even the earnings for which you paid no taxes on are taken out at zero tax dollars. So the Roth IRA has some significant advantages over the traditional in retirement because it can be taken out tax-free.
Okay, so the younger you can work and start putting money in this Roth IRA, the benefits are huge.
Huge. Because what you're doing is the time value of money. You've got decades then to grow this if you saved in your 20s or early 30s or even through your 30s. If you're not making that threshold and you can contribute to a Roth, then you have an excellent longevity of time. So it's called the time value of money. And that works towards your advantage because by the time you take it out, you've just earned all this appreciation if you've got it well invested, and you take it out at zero tax-free. So there's a lot of advantages to the Roth, but there are still advantages to the
Right, you can't do the Roth, you still haven't the next best thing. So I have a question for you or a statement, and maybe it's not even a fair one. So you tell me. So you have a younger person not making, a ton of money where they're still allowed to invest into the Roth. Are they better off putting money in the Roth than their 401k? Even though I know we're not talking about 401k.
Okay, so now that is a new development that the government allowed 401k Roths only in the last 5 years. Okay, so now that we have Roth 401ks, that is really wonderful. There are some nuances that you have to, they distribute them a little bit differently than a regular Roth IRA. So there are some, if you don't like the way they distribute at the end, we have to consider that. But otherwise, yes, the answer is yes, contribute to the Roth 401k because the benefit of the 401k with a Roth 401k is there's no income threshold. You can be making a lot of money beyond the threshold and still contribute to it.
Okay.
So it eliminates that threshold that most people have been, unable to contribute to a Roth. Although I have to say there's another nuance called a backdoor Roth, but we're not going to get into that either. But you can, it's a loophole, and you can contribute to a Roth even if you're beyond the threshold through this loophole, but you have to be very careful about how you do it. But anyway,
does it have to be employer?
no.
Okay,
No,
so you could set up a
that.
401k Roth and not have an employer attached.
Oh, wait a minute. No. You mean, does a 401k have to be employer? Yes. It has
Okay,
to.
your employer doesn't offer the Roth 401k,
Then
then
you can't do it.
can't do it. Okay, that's good to know.
Yes, if you have an employer who offers the Roth, and more are offering the Roth because now they're able to, and more are encouraged. In fact, there might have been a law that passes that they have to offer one. I don't quote me on that one, but
Right. No, but that's good for people to know, because I bet you a lot of people haven't heard of that.
Right. So the 401k Roth is an excellent option for those who are making more than they can do outside of that contribution, and even for those who are just contributing to their 401k, because there's a threshold there too. If you max out the threshold of your 401k at 23,000, you cannot contribute to a Roth or a traditional. You're maxed out. So the government does not allow you to max that out and then contribute more. You are maxed out at 23,000. Unless you're over 50, then it's 30,000. But those are some limitations. There's lots of limitations, lots of restrictions around all this. So
right, it's interesting
just an
because
overview.
my question, which is off topic, becomes: can you max out your Roth IRA and then contribute to a 401k? No. So you can't max out of either and then go to the other.
No. So you have to do that. And then the other advantage of a Roth is there are no required minimum distributions, also known as RMDs.
Okay.
So when you turn 73 now, for most people, although it used to be 70 and then it was 72 2 years ago, and now as the government has changed the rules, it's now 73 for those who will retire within 10 years. When you hit 73, you are required to start taking money out of the traditional IRA because the government wants their tax dollars. So they make you take a percentage out, and it's usually around 3 to 4% every year of whatever that balance is. So if you have $1 million, it would be 4% of that or something like that. And it depends on your longevity. It goes by your age. So at 73, they ask you to take this out. At 74, they ask you to take an even higher because you're going to die sooner. So you're closer to your longevity span, right? Your life. So they ask you to take more and more out so that they get their tax dollars. And so the traditional IRA, which of course, as we talked about, you didn't pay any, you paid the taxes, but you got them reimbursed. So the government didn't get money off of you. They want those dollars. So they require you to take that money out. The Roth, on the other hand, you paid up front. Right now, the law may change, but right now they're letting you earn that money. Any earnings on that money and that money, any appreciation is tax-free. So it doesn't really matter. They don't care if you take that money out or not because they're not going to get it anyway. So there's no required distribution on the Roth IRA.
And then you can obviously continue to let it grow and you're not paying tax on it.
That's true. That's very true. Now, for inheritance wise, though, both need to be distributed to anybody you're leaving it to within 10 years, unless it's a spouse or unless it's an eligible beneficiary. We're not going to get into those details either, but for the most part, if you're leaving it to your children, for example, that your Roth IRA or your traditional, they have to take all the distributions within 10 years. That's new since the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, which went into effect in 2019. And so now you can't, it used to be that you could let that ride out for the next generation, but that's not allowed anymore. There is no longevity with regards to that. The government wants
Downside
the
of
money
us
in 10
living
years.
longer, right?
Exactly. But they get their money. They'll get their money in 10 years out of that IRA if you leave it to a beneficiary who's not a spouse or an eligible beneficiary.
You are a wealth of knowledge, and I'm really impressed what just came off the top of your head. That was unbelievable. Will you tell people how they can get a hold of you if they're interested in getting a hold of you? And then we'll talk about the divorce part.
Sure. You can reach me at my phone number is 408-718-4839. My business is Financial Insights and Strategies. And you can find that online at my website. I'm also on Twitter. And I'm on, and you can search by my name, and as well as Facebook. So I have a Facebook page too for mostly all towards the divorce specialty, since that's what I
Wonderful.
specialize in.
Wonderful. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I'm Carri Goldring. And if you ever have any questions regarding mortgage, feel free to give me a call or send me a text message, 248-420-4524. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.